No one told me that you could do everything they said would make you successful and still feel like a stranger in your own life. I followed the rules. I played the part. I became who they told me to be: smart, driven, put together. On paper, I was the blueprint, the high achiever, the one who always had it handled. The grades were strong. The awards kept coming. The ambition, unquestionable. But behind the scenes, I was exhausted, quietly unraveling, fighting to hold together an image I never even asked to wear. Because deep down, there was a voice, a burning, a knowing, telling me I was here to build something that mattered. And somewhere along the way, I lost that voice, buried it underneath perfection, under pressure, under everyone else's idea of who I should become. We don't talk about that part. We don't talk about the cost of being the one who always looks okay. But I lived it, and I'll tell you now, you can follow the plan, do all the things right, and still wake up one day completely disconnected from your own life. And that moment will break you, or it will rebuild you. I had this mental checklist of success and what it was supposed to look like. Nobody sat down and gave it to me. I picked it up piece by piece by watching what got applause, what got praise, what got chosen. So I made a decision. Be the smart one, be the responsible one, be the one who gets it right the first time. If I could just stay ahead, stay composed, stay impressive, maybe I could earn the life I dreamed about. Maybe I'd finally feel like I was enough. And for a while, it worked. I knew how to achieve it, how to win, how to make people proud. The grades, I had them, the polished resume ready, the ability to walk into a room and wear the mask of confidence, mastered. But what no one saw, what even I couldn't fully admit at the time, was that I was performing, not living, performing excellence, performing clarity, performing like I knew exactly who I was becoming. When in reality, I was moving so fast that I never stopped to ask, do I even like the person I'm becoming? I had gotten so good at playing the part that I didn't even know where the role ended and when I began. It's wild. I was achieving everything they told me to go after, and still, I couldn't shake the question. If I've done everything right, why do I feel so wrong? Graduating was supposed to be my reward, the finish line, the big reveal where all the hard work finally paid off. I had done everything they said would set me up: the internships, the career center meetings, the networking events, the tailored covered letter, right? The late nights and early mornings, the version of myself I had crafted just to be ready for that moment. But no job came, no offer, no opportunity that felt even remotely like a yes. And I remember thinking, that wasn't the plan. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Because I had played by the rules. I had checked every box. I had made all the right moves. And still, I was staring down the barrel of graduation with no next step in sight. And let me tell you something. When you built your entire sense of worth around being the one who makes it, standing in the unknown feels like failure, even when it's not. I smiled for the pictures, posted the announcement, wore the cap and gown, but inside, I felt like my whole world was caving in. And the hardest part, everyone had something to say. Be grateful. Just take anything. Lower your standards. You're being too picky. This is just how it is. But none of them asked how it felt to work your whole life for a moment that never came. None of them saw what it was doing to my heart, to my confidence, to my dreams. And in the quiet moments after all the congratulations faded, I started to wonder if I even knew what my dream was anymore. After graduation, the silence was loud. No job, no plan, no sense of what came next, just stillness and shame. I had done everything they told me would open doors, and still found myself sitting in a room with no idea how to get out. And I didn't talk about it because how do you explain the heartbreak of feeling like your best wasn't enough? I kept applying, kept interviewing, kept hoping, but we've decided to move forward with another candidates felt like a personal rejection. I'm laughing because it's just crazy. Thank God I had saved money because I was living off discipline. But even that ran low eventually. And when it did, I took what I could get. A job, corporate, safe, stable, respectable on paper. But inside, I was crumbling. I showed up every day wearing a smile that didn't reach my eyes, doing work that didn't light me up, pretending this was enough, pretending I was okay, but I wasn't, not even close. I had lost something, and it wasn't a job or a title, it was purpose, direction, myself. I didn't know what I was building anymore. I didn't even know if I believed in the dream that started all of this. And that confusion, it turned into exhaustion. That exhaustion turned into sadness. And that sadness became something darker, a quiet depression. The kind that makes you feel invisible in your own life. The kind that doesn't always look like crying, but like going numb. And one day, I looked up and didn't recognize myself anymore. I wasn't living, I was just existing. And something inside me whispered, this can't be the end of your story. The day everything started to change didn't look like a breakthrough. There was no spotlight, no big aha moment, no motivational speech playing in the background. It was just me sitting on the edge of my bed, looking around at a life that didn't feel like mine anymore. And I thought, You can't keep living like this. So I did something small, something that almost felt too simple to matter. I opened a notebook. I wrote down the words. What do you want? Not what sounds impressive, not what looks good on a LinkedIn bio, not what makes other people clap. What do you want? And at first, I didn't even know how to answer because I had been so focused on being everything for everyone else. I had forgotten what it meant to choose something for myself. But I kept writing, messy thoughts, half-formed ideas, little flickers of hope that never had gone quiet, but they never fully disappeared, and slowly that turned into goals. Those goals became plans, and those plans became the beginning of a new version of myself. Not the next level me, not the more polished me, but the real me. I applied to grad school, not because I had to, but because I wanted to, because I needed something that felt aligned, not just impressive. And when I got in, it felt like breathing for the first time in months. I didn't have it all figured out, but I had taken one step. And that step reminded me I wasn't stuck. I was rebuilding. Grad school wasn't just about getting another degree. It was about returning to myself. Slowly, gently, intentionally. I walked into that program knowing one thing. This time, I wasn't here to impress anyone. I was here to align. And something shifted because once I stopped chasing titles and started chasing truth, everything began to move differently. I showed up to class with curiosity, not pressure. I started raising my hand again, not to prove, but to participate. And for the first time in a long time, I felt present in my own life. But here's the part that changed me most. I started giving again, not from a place of burnout, not from people pleasing, but from overflow. I used my gifts. I offered my skills. I served small businesses. I supported nonprofits. I poured into people, not because I had to, but because I could. And in that space, something beautiful happened. I got clear about what I love, clear about how I'm wired, clearer about what I'm actually here to do. See, purpose doesn't always show up as fireworks. Sometimes it whispers through consistency. Sometimes it reveals itself in the way you light up when you help someone else rise. And the more I gave, the more I remembered who I was. That wasn't just education, it was transformation. I wasn't building a career, I was building a foundation, one rooted in identity, one rooted in service, one rooted in clarity. As graduation started getting closer, I felt this pull I couldn't ignore. It wasn't fear, it wasn't pressure, it was a whisper. A knowing that everything I had walked through, every detour, every breakdown, every quiet rebuild wasn't just for me. It had to become something permanent, something I could hold in my hands and say, this is where I found myself. That's when I knew. I had to write this book, not because I had all the answers, but because I had lived the questions and survived them. I wasn't writing from theory. I was writing from experience, from clarity, from freedom. Becoming clear wasn't just a creative project. It was a final breath from the version of me who thought she had to earn her worth in the first inhale, of the woman who finally knew who she was. Every word was a release, a reclaiming of everything I gave away in the name of being chosen, perfect, or impressive. And when I finished writing, I didn't feel like I had created a product. I felt like I had created a mirror. Something someone else could hold and say, I see myself in this. That's what clarity is. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but when it lands in you, everything shifts. And that book, that's where it began for me. That's where it can begin for you. I didn't write Becoming Clear because I wanted to be an author. I wrote it because I couldn't not. Because after everything I lived through, everything I rebuilt from, I knew someone else needed to know. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not behind. You're just becoming. And yes, it's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's quiet and sacred and personal, but it's real. And when you choose to stop performing, when you finally take the pressure off and ask yourself who you really are underneath the noise, that's where clarity lives. Becoming Clear is available right now on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. However you like to read, read it. Let it hold you. Let it comfort you. Let it give you language to the version of you you've been trying to become in silence. Because the clarity you're searching for, it's not out there. It's already in you. You have to clear the way. And once you do, you don't go back. You don't settle. You don't shrink. You don't perform for rooms that were never built for you. You rise. You build. You become. And that's what this was always about. So if you're standing at your own edge right now, wondering who you are and where you're going, or whether your story still matters, let this be your reminder. You don't find clarity by chasing it. You find it by becoming it.